Hello and welcome back to Fiancé Farm in Stardew Valley. It's the ninth day of spring. This is episode 4, technically 4.5, because Órla and I had started recording episode 4 and Orla's mum came over for a visit to gift me some honey. The Limerick Bee Association honey show was on today. Orla's mother went to it. She's a beekeeper like myself, and she got us a jar of honey as a little present, so I couldn't just tell her to fuck off because Orla and I are recording. So we paused our we paused our recording and we had a wee chat with Orla's mum. So that's why this is technically episode 4.5. So we had this this lovely dialogue, Orla and I, about the seasons and autumn and Samhain and all that kind of thing. But unfortunately we had to cut that. But yeah, we can still talk about it. So like, between episode 3 and episode 4, Orla and I took a little break, and we were just saying how, you know, like we enjoy autumn in this game, we enjoy autumn in real life. It's just, you know, a lovely time of year, and we're saying like we reckon it's our favourite season. Like we love Christmas. I love spring because it's like the world is waking up. But I think we agree like autumn is one of our favourite times. I don't think either of us really like summer, Orla, to be honest.
Yeah, I really struggle with summer. I think just lack of routine and stuff like that. It doesn't help that I'm still in education at the moment as well. And just so you know, I am at the caves waiting for you.
Alright, I'm on my way.
Or the mine, sorry. But yeah, I really struggle with summertime with like lack of routine. I feel like summer has such a pressure to like be doing something every day when the weather is good, and I prefer the slowdown of like autumn and winter. Unfortunately, autumn, maybe not autumn, but
sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Halloween is definitely overlooked a little bit. It's my favorite holiday. I love Christmas. Like, I really, really love Christmas. And as soon as Halloween's over, I am so ready for Christmas. Like, I'm literally like 1st of November on my Christmas tree is going up. But like, it is Halloween itself is very kind, and I think there's a multitude of reasons why I think that is the case. It's such a shame though, because I feel like autumn and Halloween are very like nice things, like slowing down, like I said, like kind of finishing up harvest for the year. Halloween is obviously originally Samhain, which is like the celebration of spirits crossing over from the other world, which is obviously Halloween came from, and it's an Irish holiday, or a pagan holiday, and yeah, like it has a lot of meaning to me, and I think it is very nice to remember the dead and people who passed on, or pets that have passed on. But it is very rushed because of capitalism. As soon as I felt like we were discussing this, like around June, July, well maybe not June, July, August, late July, August is when Halloween decorations start hitting like shop now. And then by the time late September, start of October comes around, Christmas is out. So I've only just started getting excited for autumn and Halloween. All of a sudden then it's talk about Christmas and like what we're going to have for Christmas dinner and what gifts do people want and different things like that. And I just hate that. I hate that there's such a rush between time. Like summer feels so stretched out, all summer long. It just feels like a super stretched out holiday, and there isn't even like one specific event in summer that like has people forward to it. And Halloween is very, very much overlooked. So I think if we viewed Halloween instead of just like a kiddie's little like trick or treat thing, and if adults had something to look forward to, like a big meal like Christmas, I feel Halloween more for what it is and take the time to appreciate it instead of rushing into Christmas.
Yeah. Would you mind picking up that amethyst there on the ground, if you can?
Yeah. My problem is that I have bait that I keep forgetting to put away. So
it's all right. I got rid of my sap. You're all right. Yeah, I think like we were saying before as well, Orla. like I see autumn as this time where everything's slowing down. Did they refer to like people who retire, like the older generations, people who are kind of in their later life? They refer to it as like their autumn years, don't they, or something like that? Like that's a term, isn't it? Anyway, it doesn't.
Golden years, no.
I don't know. Anyway, the point is like autumn is for in my opinion, the way I see autumn is it's the time that the northern hemisphere starts to slow down. You know, the trees kind of return to the earth and go to sleep. You know, animals that hibernate, they're starting to phase into hibernation, and it's almost like the world should spin slower because of we've less light, there's less buzzing. You know, like spring is this burst of life, this rebirth, and this insane kind of thriving of new life and a turnover, I guess. You know, autumn in my like is the opposite of that. It's where everything starts to slow down, where everything starts to go to sleep. But because of our business calendars, because of our, as Orla said, you know, kind of because of capitalism and the commercialization of our holidays, it's arguably the busiest time of year, you know, in terms of human activity. Christmas is this big, massive buzz, this big hullabaloo. People are traveling back and over the country. Like, how many Christmas movies are there, Orla, where, you know, it's the protagonist is going home for Christmas. You know, they live in New York and they're flying home to the Midwest for Christmas. You know, how many Christmas movies are about traveling at Christmas time? And it's kind of in opposition to what the Earth is telling us. Like, at least again in the northern hemisphere. If you're in the southern hemisphere, it's inverted, obviously. But it's like everyone should be slowing down.
Pause on you there.
Yeah, of course.
I am out of energy. Sorry to just drag us back.
No, of course. No, absolutely, yeah.
I need to go home.
Yeah, where's
continue to talk.
Where's the ladder? Is it down here?
It's down here, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm not finding the ladder.
No,
I'm half energy as well. We can do some fishing or something like that. But
I need to sleep. I'm borderline exhausted. So.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, like I don't have much more to say on it really. It's just I feel like autumn is rushed. As in the like humans, like society rushes through autumn because it's like kids are back to school. You know, there's this lull in the summer, which I get. Like it's probably the best time for kids to take off school because they actually get to go and do stuff in the sunshine. They get to go outside and enjoy the nice weather. I get that. But we have the period after summer where everyone's back to school. The holidays are all over. You know, you might go away for a week in August with your kids, whatever. And everyone's back to work, back to school, and it's head down. With the head down until Christmas, you know? Like, I suppose a lot of schools get the midterm for Halloween as well, but like, you know, for me, as soon as, you know, summer is over, my next holiday is Christmas, and I just have to put the head down and work until, you know, Christmas comes. And it's kind of in opposition to what the world is telling us, what our environment is telling us, I should say, rather than the world as a whole.
Yeah,
you know,
like when I mentioned earlier what Samhain was, and it is basically the pagan belief that on the 31st of October that the spirit world crosses over, like the veil is thin in terms of like the spiritual world and the real world, and so the spirits cross over into the real world on the night of the 31st of October, first or anything. And I suppose where that belief would have come from is, I suppose, like, it's such a, like, when you see the 31st of October versus the 30th of September, the drastic change in, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, the drastic change, especially in Ireland in the Northern Hemisphere, is the sunset time. The darkness, like, we get sunset here in Ireland at like 11 p.m. during the summer, and then by the time the 31st of October comes around, it's like 6 o'clock in the evening. So I suppose it's the first big jump in after that point, it does start. We start getting frosts. It starts going as far as by the time it's the 21st of December, like 4 p.m. sunsets. So I suppose in terms of what people were seeing back then is that it's getting so dark, and what these with darkness, but spirits and monsters and ghouls and stuff like that. So they believed that, and they used to like believe that that there was good spirits, bad spirits, like that say the spirits of their loved ones were walking the earth again, but obviously that with that came evil spirits as well. So like it is about slowing down. It is about appreciating what's gone and past. At that point as well, a lot of the leaves have, like, we're getting these beautiful orange and red leaves at the moment, but by the time the end of October, 1st of November comes around, they've all fallen. So we start with our barren leaf winter, or barren trees for winter. So I suppose all around, and then obviously animals go into hibernation, and say loss of life with animals going into hibernation. You don't see as many animals around. So I suppose back then, when you had no science to explain, like 2,000 years ago, they genuinely believe like the world was like just dying off for the winter, and that's when like the dead and spirits were coming around. So I suppose we don't really take that time to pause and appreciate anymore. It's just rushed into Christmas, and I do correlates a little bit to mental health, where people are so afraid of the dark and what that brings with, like, what's the word when seasonal depression. What seasonal depression brings. I feel like people rush through autumn and November. Really, November can be a tough one for people, and into the light and brightness of Christmas to try. Sorry, now I've just been kicked from the game, but to try get out of I suppose the darkness and straight into the brightness of Christmas.
Yep. Can I just stop you there as well? We've been given this cat to adopt. Marnie came to the house and offered us a cat. It's a black cat. I picked the black cat on purpose. But I'm wondering what should we call it? I think, like, because we're talking about autumn and stuff like that, I was thinking that Autumn would be a nice name, or maybe like Amber or Ember, or I don't know.
It's a black cat, isn't it?
It is. That's why like Ember doesn't really work. But like I think Samhain would be nice, but obviously
I was just about to say Samhain.
Yeah. So we had a cat, or well, I suppose Orla's family had a cat a couple of years ago called Samhain, and unfortunately she got out and kind of escaped the house. She was very timid. She was basically feral when she was adopted and never kind of came out of her shell. So she was always super skittish, and you know, it took a lot of time and patience to try bring Samhain out of her shell. And you know, one day the door was opened, the dogs opened the door by accident, and Samhain got out, and unfortunately she never came home. So I think Samhain is a nice name. I don't have Samhain in Paleo Pines or Minecraft or anything like that, so I think Samhain's a good choice, Orla, yeah?
I think Samhain's a good choice because of what our topic of conversation is.
Yeah,
and I know we usually give all the chickens and cows and stuff our pet names, but I think Samhain would be a good one.
Yeah. Now, hopefully I've spelled it right. I'm pretty sure I have, but anyway.
Samhain?
Yep, that's the one. So I just want to say as well, folks, hopefully Orla's quality is okay. As Orla's speaking, she's coming through my headphones, and her voice keeps breaking up a little bit. There's not a whole lot we can do about that, unfortunately. I think it's to do with the internet and the signal. But we'll do our best to try and improve that. Maybe it's coming through fine in the video, but what I'm hearing in my head, it isn't amazing. So I'll do my best to kind of put in subtitles where some of Orla's speech is broken, just so you guys know what she's talking about, because it was quite bad there. You've seen as well, she got kicked, I'm assuming because the signal is so poor. But the perks of living in the west of Ireland, I suppose, as always. So there's not a whole lot we can do about it right now, but we'll work to get it as good as we can, I suppose, because it can be quite distracting, you know, as a listener, as a viewer. So yeah, look,
Titles on
we'll
anyways for people who can't listen to things.
yeah, no, for sure, for sure. We'll do our best to make it better. We have 36 copper. I'm going to use this copper to make some furnaces, Orla, or a furnace, I suppose.
Yeah, can I make a furnace as well? That's on my to-do
we
list.
need
My
to
journal.
get four. We need to get 4 more copper to do that, unless you have some in your inventory.
No, I already put all my copper into the thing.
All right.
I'm just fishing at the moment to make some
Use your
money.
furnace to smelt a copper bar. Okay. Yeah. So sorry for kind of interrupting your train there. I just wanted to say it because I hope the quality is okay for the viewers. Like, but
that's fine.
no, I think you're absolutely right. Like, the thing about seasonal depression, for those, I suppose, for those of you that don't know, my dad lives in Australia with, you know, I suppose one half of my family. You know, some of my siblings, my stepmom and my dad, they live in Australia, and one of the first things that people would remark when my dad moved there is the time at which the sun sets. So he when he moved there, it was one of the first things he noticed was like all year round, the sun kind of sets at the same time. You don't see this major discrepancy between sunset and between the seasons. It's kind of, from experience and from what Dad has said, it's kind of always around 7 to 8 p.m. What I've noticed with Australia is the sun sets super quick. Like, you go to the beach to see the sunset, within half an hour it is pitch dark. Like, there is no extended period of sunset. It's just on and off. But in relation to the seasonal depression thing, like, during our summers, it can be light in Ireland, like visible light, no torches, no lights, sitting in the garden having a barbecue, until 11:30 at night. 11:30 p.m. you can comfortably sit in the garden and talk with friends and family, you know? Flip it to August, or to autumn and winter, as Orla said, the sun sets at like 3:30, 4, 5 p.m. And that, I think, has a major effect on, you know, your mental health a little bit. A lot of people, especially I think in Scandinavia and the more Nordic countries, you know, people suffer from seasonal depression, where it's super dark all the time. Like, especially in places like Iceland, where it's like 3 months of night, perpetual darkness, the sun doesn't rise. It's just nighttime all the time. And I think it does get to you. Especially when we don't slow down, you know, as a species, as a society. If you have 3 months of night, you should be, you know, indoors sleeping, you know? There's examples throughout history where, like, villages, like, basically hibernated. Like, there are examples of that where, like, people sleep more during winter. You know, to the point where, like, there was this village, I can't remember where exactly. I have a feeling it was Austria or Switzerland. But basically the whole village slept for like 24 hours straight. Like, no one got out of bed. That's hibernation, in my opinion, you know? But what we see with our modern world is, you know, like New York, the city that never sleeps. We never switch off as a species, regardless of the time, the day, the season. It's go, go, go. You know, it's go to work, go to school, come home from work, come home from school, watch TV. That's the same in spring as it is in winter. And I think it's probably impossible to change that, you know? We have our set calendar now. You know, we have our summer holidays, we have our Christmas holidays. But I would love if I could take, you know, 2 months off, say December to January or November to December, to give my body a chance to, like, recuperate with nature. As nature slows down, as the northern hemisphere slows down, I would like to slow down with it. Arguably, I'm busier than I've ever been in my career right now. So as the world is kind of going to sleep, I'm working harder and longer than I ever have. And, you know, I don't have seasonal depression, but I think it does I think it does have an impact on us. Where, you know, even the tradition of Christmas, the pagan holiday of Christmas and Christmas lights, comes from that slowing down and the loss of sunlight, right, Orla?
Yeah, so Christmas came from Yule, and it was just that, like, the people back then were struggling. Like, obviously there's nothing to harvest during the winter. All the animals are hibernating, so they just kept together to kind of, I suppose, like in a community, they would have stored all their food and stuff like that, and had something midwinter, which would be around obviously the 25th to the 21st is what Yule was before. That's the shortest day of the year. It has become the 25th since Christianity took over Christmas. But that's why it is around that date. It's the middle of winter, so the people would save all their food and nice things until the darkest point of the year, and celebrate and come together to kind of remind people of happy and bright things, basically. And that's where Christmas or Yule, that's where it came from.
So yeah, I suppose you mentioned, I think, in a previous episode that we're not long back from Scotland. We did, because we were talking about our engagement, Orla. We're not long back from Scotland. Up until then, Orla and I were going to the gym pretty regularly. We were eating really clean, you know, like I would have chicken and rice like Monday to Friday, Orla would have tuna and rice or salmon and rice. Really kind of clean meals. We would treat ourselves at the weekends, you know, so with goodness, with discipline, you have to allow for treats, you know, off days, you know, stuff like that. Because I think, talking about mental health, if you're too harsh on yourself and if you expect yourself to go 100% all the time, you will inevitably fail. So Orla and I would eat really clean during the week, and then we would have, you know, a little treat at the weekend where we would still have home cooked meals, but they would be nicer meals. They would, you know, have sauces, maybe burger and chips, stuff like that. And I suppose we've timed it not poorly, but to try get back into the routine of going to the gym in particular, again, is kind of an opposition of that slowing down with the world kind of thing we're talking about, where, you know, I think maybe subconsciously my body knows it's autumn, it knows it's winter. From a survival point of view, if you believe in this kind of thing, my body, my muscle memory knows that winter has less resources. You know, there's less opportunities for food. So my body, and arguably my brain, wants to store as much fat as possible. It wants to store nutrients so that my body can make it through the winter, you know? And in opposition to that, I'm going to the gym and I'm trying to, you know, lose weight, I guess is one way to say it. Like, my body fights that, you know? So I think during these winter months, I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, I really should go to the gym. I think part of my caveman, my inner caveman, is telling me, nah man, you shouldn't be working out at all. You should be sitting on this couch, wrapped up with a lovely blanket, eating donuts and roasted chicken. You shouldn't be working out at all, big man. You should be saving these fat stores. Save your energy for the winter. Let's just stay on this couch and watch a movie, you know? So I think we're gonna have to get back into the routine of going to the gym, Orla and I. It's part of our fitness journey. To look after our hearts, to look after our lungs and our brains. You know, Orla and I want to go to the gym and live long, healthy lives. But the thought of going to the gym when it's, you know, 4 degrees outside and it's absolutely pelting down with rain isn't the most appealing idea, right? But yeah, we'll get back into it, Orla, won't we?
Yeah, we will. Like, I'm kind of a little bit different. Again, I don't know what it is, but I find it really hard to stay motivated during the summer with like gym and exercise and stuff like that. But I actually do get a stronger urge to participate during the autumn and winter. Like, even in terms of like walking, one of the biggest things in, like, let's say the fitness world and to lose weight and stuff like that is if you were walking, it's cardiovascular. So I really struggle with wanting to walk during the summer because I feel like it's just a really horrible like time to be walking and stuff like that. I feel like there's so many, especially where we live, there's lots of bugs around summertime. It's obviously way hotter than we're used to, different things like that. So I actually prefer like autumn winter walking. And again, I don't know what it is. I just get more motivated during this time of the year. I find I look forward to stuff like a Sunday roast and stuff like that, so I can behave with my a little bit better during the week. Whereas in the summer, I feel like food is just all over the place for me, and there's not like one particular like meal or time of the week that I'm excited to really eat and stuff like that. So I look for the more. I sorry, I'm a little bit lost. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going. I don't look forward. So I start craving more snacks during the day. I also find when I'm warm, especially like if you think of like going on holidays to like Spain or whatever, I always associate that with snacking and constantly snacking.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have this really weird like thing where I just associate winter with like holding out for the nicer things, whereas like summer it's just like, because I'm not like enjoying myself as much because it's not my favorite time of year. I need more treats to feel better about it. Maybe that's just maybe comfort. Like even when I was younger, when I was like actually doing my ballet and stuff like that, like I found that I actually gained more weight in the summer and lost it in the winter. That came with obviously my lessons returning back in September and stuff like that. But I don't know, I was just able to be stricter with my food during the winter time than I was during the summer. I don't know. I think I am alone in that though, because from what other people say. So don't take.
Yeah, I think the context there as well is like a lot of that was during like summer holidays or college holidays, Orla. So like, you know, I think like I said with the back to school thing, like back to school, back to college, back to work, whatever. You know, it's head down, and you know basically survive until Christmas, or at least until Halloween. You know, let's survive until the next holiday. So like in that context, it's like during summer you've no routine, you're just doing your own thing, you're probably eating more, your routine is gone, so you're probably snacking more. So maybe that's why, you know, you experience that where you put on a little bit more weight during the summer. Like I agree with you though about the walking thing. Like I would much rather go for a walk on like a crisp like November evening where it's a little bit frosty than the blazing sun in July. Like that's not appealing to me at all. I like going outside to swim. I like going outside to, you know, kick a football around or kick a rugby ball around. But the idea of going for a walk when it's absolutely roasting is not appealing at all. So no, I completely agree with you on that one. Like, it's I don't like you see it with the cats as well. Like when it's super hot in the house, like the cats are just panned out on the floor. Like they don't play, they barely eat. You know, when it's too hot, the cats are just comatose. Whereas, you know, the cooler evenings and stuff, they're actually a little bit more active. So I suppose it's subconscious and conscious and, you know, all these different factors, isn't it, really, that play into it.
I do think I'm someone that needs a good bit of routine.
Me too.
I don't know if people believe in like star signs, but I am a Virgo, and I definitely I feel like it's very accurate to my personality of what being a Virgo is. But I really, really love my routine. I love that feeling. Like honestly, I love that feeling of like going back to school and stuff like that. It makes my head feel more organized, and I just think that that does attribute to me struggling more at the summertime with my lack of routine when it comes to exercise and dieting and stuff like that versus the rest of the year. I find it a lot more easier just to stay on track with that kind of thing. I was obviously previously as well. So I did properly have like those summer holidays where there was just genuinely nothing to do for 3 months. So I really struggled with that. Um, but yeah, like I do think that all those things attribute to it. So in on that side of it, then I really struggle um with summertime, and I don't really with autumn and winter. I really thrive in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
Can I put a pause? Mom is trying to ring me, so I'd imagine she's trying to.
Yeah, sure. We can finish it here as well. I know it's kind of in the middle of the day, but Orla and I need to jump. We haven't had dinner. It's our cat's birthday, or the cat's got you day. We've had Kelsifer and Kylock for 2 years now. So we normally give them a little tuna cake, a little tuna tin with a candle. I think we have some chicken for them tonight. To celebrate their little, their little birthday, I guess. Orla and I need to eat. All this talk about food and diets and gyms has me hungry. So, funnily enough, my mum is calling me as well, Orla. So it must be a sign. I think we'll leave it here, folks. I hope you've enjoyed Orla and I backing over. This is actually how we normally talk. This isn't rehearsed or it isn't scripted. Orla and I kind of just talk at each other and find a middle ground sometimes. But yeah, look, I hope you find it entertaining. I think we're growing in confidence, Orla. I think we're getting used to this whole having a conversation through a game thing. It's a little bit weird considering we're in the same house, but I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you guys are too. The audience. Yeah, look, we'll leave it here. We're on 32 minutes, so that's not a bad time to call it quits.
Yeah, do you want to be back at the house and maybe just say goodbye there?
Yeah, sure. Are you far away? No, you're miles away. Look, I'll pretend.
I'm just at the town. I'm almost there.
I don't know, man. It seems like you're miles away, bro.
I swear to God, if you end up being behind me, I'm going to kill you.
I can barely hear you from all the way over there, man. I don't know. I'm gonna go down and get this geode.
I have some wild horseradish and spring onion. Will I just sell those? We don't need them, do we?
How many do you have? Do you have one of each?
I have 5 spring onion and 1 horseradish.
Hold on to the spring onion for me. The horseradish, we already have one. I think just for the community center. You can sell everything else.
Cool.
I got you a geode as well. I found a geode in the ground.
Yeah, I have loads of geodes. We just need to save up some money because I went to go do them the last day and I had no money.
Yeah, it's pure expensive. Our crops should be ready soon as well. We've got some kale coming. We need to buy some more potatoes and parsnips. But look, let's not get distracted. We will leave it here. It's nice that we got to finish another episode at nighttime. I like to kind of finish the videos, as another day turns over. The next episode will start on day 12. But yeah, we kind of have to jump now, guys, I suppose. Real life is calling. It's real life is at our door. We're gonna go celebrate our cat babies. And yeah, have a nice day, have a nice evening, have a nice night, whatever time it is where you are. We'll speak to you soon, and thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.